What would you do if your mother vanished without a trace in the middle of the night and nobody could tell you if she was alive or dead? That is exactly what Savannah Guthrie is living through right now. And the story you have heard on the news is only scratching the surface. By the end of this video, you are going to understand what most people watching this case have completely missed. You're going to learn how deleted footage that should have been gone forever was pulled back from the dead. You are going to see why this was not random. And you're going to hear what Savannah said that changed everything. Stick with me until the end, because I'm going to show you something about your own home security that could protect your family. Most people have no idea this gap exists. But first, let me be clear. This is not gossip. Everything I am about to tell you comes from verified facts and confirmed reporting. A real woman is missing. A real family is suffering. And this story deserves to be told with honesty and respect. Most people only know Nancy Guthrie as Savannah's mom. But she is so much more than that. Nancy is 81 years old. She and her husband Charles once lived in Australia, where Savannah was born in 1971. The family eventually settled in Arizona, and the desert became home. Then, in 1988, Charles died suddenly from a heart attack. Savannah was only 16. Nancy was left to raise 3 children completely alone. She put her grief aside and became both parents at once. Savannah has said many times that everything good in her life traces back to her mother's refusal to let loss win. Nancy lives in the Catalina Hills area of Tucson, a quiet neighborhood tucked against a mountain range. Hiking trails everywhere. She used to joke about javelinas eating her plants. This is not a place where things like this happen. That contrast is part of what makes this so deeply unsettling. On January 31st, Nancy had a perfectly normal evening. She took an Uber to Annie's house at 5:32 p.m. for dinner and a family game night. The Uber driver was cleared immediately and provided dash cam footage showing Nancy in the car. After several hours, the family drove her home. She was dropped off at 9:45 p.m. At 9:48, her garage opened. At 9:50, it closed. Everyone believed she was safely inside for the night. For almost 4 hours, nothing unusual happened. Then the middle of the night arrived and everything unraveled. At 1:47 a.m., Nancy's doorbell camera was disconnected. Not smashed. Disconnected. 25 minutes later, at 2:12 a.m., surveillance software detected movement, but no footage was saved because there was no active subscription. Whatever was captured vanished. Then came the detail that stopped everyone cold. Nancy has a pacemaker linked to an app on her phone. At 2:28 a.m., that app disconnected. Her phone was found inside the house, untouched. Investigators believe 2:28 a.m. is the exact moment she was taken far enough away for the connection to drop. That is the last digital trace of her. By Sunday morning, Nancy had not shown up to her weekly gathering, where she and friends watched a live-streamed church service together. She never missed it. When she did not appear, her friends called Annie immediately. By 11:56 a.m., family members found she was not home. At 12:03 p.m., they called 911. By 12:15, deputies were on the scene. Sheriff Nanos received a description of the home's condition and said publicly it was disturbing enough that he would not repeat out loud. He called in homicide detectives immediately. Blood was found on the front porch. It was confirmed to be Nancy's. Ransom notes soon started appearing, but not to the family. They went to media outlets including TMZ and 2 Tucson television stations. Each demanded millions in Bitcoin. The FBI could not verify if any were real. The family had received 0 direct contact from anyone claiming to hold Nancy. Not one message. The first note claimed Nancy was okay, but frightened. It gave no way to respond and no proof of life. A second note arrived with a darker tone. It referenced consequences if a deadline passed. When asked directly whether that meant harm to Nancy, the answer was yes. A man in Los Angeles was arrested for messaging the family about Bitcoin from the notes. He had no connection to the original letters. He was simply someone trying to profit from their pain. On February 4th, Savannah posted a video with her siblings. She spoke directly to whoever was responsible. She asked for proof her mother was alive. She reminded them that Nancy depends on daily medication to survive. She ended by speaking straight to her mother. She promised they would not stop searching. Now here is the part almost nobody is explaining properly. Pay close attention because this matters. For days, investigators believed no footage existed from Nancy's doorbell camera. No subscription meant nothing saved. That felt like a dead end. Then the FBI announced footage had been recovered using residual data from back-end cloud servers after working directly with private sector partners. The camera had a Nest watermark, and that detail changed everything. Here is what most people do not know. Most doorbell cameras save nothing without a paid subscription. Nest works differently. Even without a subscription, Nest cameras automatically upload short clips to Google servers. Older models save clips up to 5 minutes, kept for about 3 hours. Newer models save clips around 10 seconds, kept for about 6 hours. Then they disappear from the app. But disappearing from the app is not the same as being erased. When data is deleted, the system simply marks that space as available for reuse. Until something new overwrites it, the data is still there, invisible but present. Recovering it from Google servers means locating file fragments scattered across servers worldwide and rebuilding them piece by piece without a map. That is exactly what the FBI did, and it worked. The footage shows one person at Nancy's front door. Black jacket, light pants, large pale backpack, face hidden by a ski mask, hands in vinyl gloves. They adjusted the camera, then snapped a branch from a nearby plant and wedged it into the lens. A handgun sat holstered across their chest. A flashlight was clenched between their teeth, keeping both hands free. Through the ski mask, their eyes were visible, focused, scanning, moving with purpose. This was not random. This person came prepared and knew exactly what they were doing. Shortly after the footage was released, Savannah shared it publicly and urged anyone with information to contact the FBI. Then she went further. She stood on camera and said the family had received a message and understood what it meant. She said they were willing to pay. During an active federal investigation, that is not a casual statement. That is a family pushed to their absolute limit, doing everything possible to reach someone who may not be listening. The investigation expanded rapidly. Annie's house was searched. Evidence bags were removed. The septic tank at Nancy's home was examined with flashlights and tools. A vehicle connected to Nancy was towed away. A 24-hour command post was established with crisis negotiators working nonstop. Thousands of tips poured in. Now here is what I promised you. The thing about your own home you need to know right now. Most people think that without a subscription, their security camera offers no protection. What this case reveals is that a small temporary window exists in cameras, like Nest, even without paying. But that window is tiny, 3 to 6 hours at most. The person who took Nancy knew this. They disconnected the camera at 1:47 a.m., knowing the footage window would close before anyone thought to check. They were almost right. It took the full resources of the FBI and Google to recover those images. You do not have those resources, but you have a choice right now. Check if your doorbell camera has an active cloud subscription. If not, your footage may only exist for a few hours. Consider activating local storage or a subscription if you can. Understanding exactly what your camera can and cannot do is the difference between having security and just feeling like you do. Nancy Guthrie is still missing. A grandmother who raised 3 kids alone after losing her husband. Someone who never missed a Sunday with her friends. Someone whose daughter stood before the entire country and begged for her return. If you know anything about the Tucson area around January 31st, contact the FBI or the Puma County Sheriff's Office. The numbers are in the description below. And if this video helped you understand something you did not before, please share it. Because somewhere out there, someone might recognize something in that footage. And that one person could be the reason Nancy comes home.